Good morning. It is such a great day to have synchronicity, and I am so excited to be linked with the collective consciousness for another day. Today, I'm so excited to have an old friend that is coming to have tea with us. She was with us last year. Miss Joy Larkin, who is a narcissistic survivors coach, and we are going to be talking about narcissism, which I hear so much about in my practice, and maybe today Joy can give us some tips and some tea on what to look out for when we are in these different relationships, whether they are interpersonal relationships, work relationships, um, family ships, what to look out for individuals who are doing things in a different type of way, and the way that they are moving is making us feel uneasy. So, Joy, good morning. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Yes, good morning, Shakira. I am good. I'm so happy to be back.
So happy to have you
Yes,
back.
it's been
So it
great.
has been great. It has been what a year it has
I
been. What a year it has been.
know. A
But
full
here we are, a
year.
full year, full circle, and we are in
Yes.
the cuffs of Domestic Violence Survivors Month. And so this is a great opportunity to educate the collective consciousness on just some things to be on the lookout for. So, Joy, jump right in. Tell me about your program. Tell me about your coaching program and
Mhm.
why it would be beneficial.
Yeah, man. So I have 90-day coaching programs that I help former victims and survivors when it comes to overcoming narcissistic abuse, turning their pain into power, also healing and recovery after the mental, emotional, and psychological abuse at the hands of dealing with a narcissist. Overcome narcissistic abuse is the first 90-day coaching program that I have for victims and survivors. And also another program that I have is called Turn Your Pain into Power. This kind of helps folks that, are not only looking to heal, but they're also wanting to help others do the same in the form in which they did. They can kind of help others and have an impact on their community and things like that.
Wonderful. That is amazing, really amazing.
Yes.
And so this is a
Yes.
very specified program, right? We
Yes.
we hear of like coaches for like self-improvement, for empowerment, all of these different things, but you are dealing with a very specified population of not individuals who are just survivors of abuse, but they are
Mhm.
survivors of narcissistic abuse. Tell me why this spoke to your heart.
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. I think because it happened to me. It was a
Hmm.
real life experience that happened to me at a very young age. I guess I've shared my story quite a bit. So when I was 17 years old, I started living with my aunt, which when I was living in California, she was a narcissist. She was a somatic narcissist. And I didn't really know like what was going on. I knew something was off about my aunt. I just didn't know, like I couldn't put it into a words or define it or explain it to anybody because, it wasn't too many people that knew about, what a narcissist was. And like I said, I just something wasn't right. And finally, I think when I was like 22, I decided to kind of, move out. And while also living with my aunt, I had a connection with a male narc as well. So I was dealing with two narcissists at the time, which kind of led me to this journey. But, once I kind of broke free, of my aunt at first, things kind of changed with between her and I. We kind of lost contact. We didn't talk as much. Communication was just kind of iffy, and I just felt the distance, but I also felt the lack of empathy. I
Hmm.
didn't feel loved by her. I didn't feel any remorse or any sympathy from her whatsoever. And that hurt my feelings, and because you would think, hey, this is family. What is family for? They're there to support, they're there to uplift, to
Yeah.
love, and you know what I'm saying. And I just did not get that from her. And I wasn't adopted or anything. I didn't grow up, you know what I'm saying. I didn't grow up like foster care or anything like that. This is like my blood family. And like I said, also, when it came to the male narc in my life, I trusted him. I thought he was a friend. I saw him as a mentor. Come to find out, that just wasn't the case. It wasn't true. I felt betrayed. I felt heartbroken. And also along my journey, once I went no contact with my aunt and the male narc in my life at that time, I was like, okay, I'm gonna heal. I was dealing with the emotions and things like that. I was trying to distract myself from the pain, but it just never seemed to go away, right?
Mhm.
And the gentleman that I met at work, I dealt with him for about 4 months. Again, something felt off. Like I said, I had that familiarity with, my aunt and the male narc. So it kind of, I was like, I didn't know what was going on, but I was like, let me just go for it. So then, we had a connection, and, that ended. And then finally I said to myself, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of hurting. I'm tired of feeling pain. I need to fix this.
Mm,
You know what I
mm,
mean? And I realized that it's not just those individuals that I connected with that caused the pain. Yeah, they had a part to play, but what is it about myself that I need to fix and work through, so that way I don't keep attracting these type of individuals, or I can recognize it a lot sooner, so that way I don't get hurt in the process. You know what I'm saying?
mhm. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that pretty much led me to, helping victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse, because like when I talk to people, I coach them, we do our sessions, we do the 90-day coaching program. For me to help them to break free of the abuse helps me not only to keep breaking free and keep no contact, it helps me to say, yes, I made the right decision. Other
Mhm.
people have experienced this. So, yes, just keep on the right path and leave those toxic individuals, keep them far away,
Yeah.
you know?
So you mentioned, Joy, that you took a deep dive into
Yes.
self. And you said, what is it about me that is
Hmm.
attracting some of this energy, some of this
Hmm.
egocentric
Hmm.
type of cadence? What did you find out?
You know, to be honest, that's a good question. Some of the things that I found out, that there was a lot of trauma that I was still holding on to, even from childhood. To be
Hmm.
honest, I learned that, I was still hurting based off of, and God bless my parents. I love them dearly to this day, but there were certain things that they had did and said to me that just was not okay.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know, and I kind of had to acknowledge that, but so I had to grieve that younger part of myself. I had to grieve that. But I thought it was also healing for me to tell them what I was feeling and tell them what I was experiencing, which I was a little nervous, because I'm like, I
Yeah,
don't know what they're gonna say,
that's
and
right.
stuff
Yeah,
like that,
yeah, yeah.
and so, but I found the courage to, just confront them, not like in a hostile way or aggressive way. I just say, hey, you know what, when you said this, when you did that, it made me feel this way. So I didn't really put the blame on them. I just let them know how it made me feel based off
Hmm.
of their actions. And so, I told both my mom and my dad equally. They took it different ways, right? But both of them ended up apologizing and said that they, felt that they did the best that they could, which I'm sure that they did. But, I was able to make peace with that and let it go, you know?
Okay,
And
okay.
then just other aspects, just dealing with, growing up, being bullied, all like in middle school and high school, getting into like two fights as a young child. Just, I mean, I wasn't doing anything. Like, you
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? And so, just having to deal with that and just overcoming like low self-esteem and body shame, and, not knowing myself, not knowing like my history, like understanding the culture, my Black culture, being a Black American, living in America, trying to connect the dots on how, we contributed to this country, learning those roots, and just finding myself, also getting my relationship with God,
Yeah.
like understanding that, yes, I am God's child. There's a certain way that you have to live, and just really honing in on those promises that he promised us, studying and having little like prophetic words that I watch on YouTube every day, just kind of reassuring me like, yes, stay on the path with God. That's going to be the best way to live, you
All
know?
right, really good. So if I'm hearing you correctly,
Yes,
some of the steps that you had to take was to address your own internal trauma, to be able
correct.
to make peace with those who subjected you to that trauma, and then to find a practice, a spirituality to remind you of your purpose. And
Yes.
so putting those things together, you were able um, to break free, for lack of a better word, than some from some of that narcissistic energy that you are attracting. Good
Correct.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty really good. I'm
Yes.
loving
No,
it. I'm loving
you
everything
like
about it.
took, I love how you took from that, like you summarized it beautifully. Like, and
Hmm.
yeah, just my faith in God really. I was listening to a song. I don't know, a guy, his name is Victor Thomason. I recommend. He has a song called Dependable God, and I was just playing it like back to back. And I felt
Yes.
myself kind of having a little emotions because it just made me realize like God has never really left me,
At
or
all.
he'll never leave you either. Anybody
Nope.
like listening or watching this, it's just we really have to depend on him at all times. And he got
Hmm.
us. He got
Yes.
us so
Isn't that
much.
something,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Even when we are at our lowest point and we're like, God, where are you? Right? Once we
Hmm.
get out of that and turn to Him, He's like, I've always been here, right? I've
Always.
been carrying you through, just waiting for you to acknowledge me. That is such a
Waiting.
beautiful thing, Joy. I'm gonna put the name of the song in the
Yeah,
chat, or
definitely. I
in the
recommend it. I
yep,
recommend it for
so that
sure.
some of our watchers can
They can listen
um,
into
they
that.
can listen in, definitely. So you identified your aunt as a somatic narcissist. Could
Yes.
you explain to us what that means?
Yeah, so somatic individuals are persons that are very focused on the outer appearance, which it's nothing wrong with. We all will talk about self care. Of course, you want to take care of yourself, you want to look good, you want to feel good. It's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're doing it to like compare yourself to other people, or you're being competitive, or you're being jealous, and you're being envious, and saying, "Oh, look, I look this way," and "Oh, you look that way," or
Mm.
they're trying to feel superior and like make
Mm-hmm.
other people feel low about themselves, and like put downs, teasing, bullying, and all kinds of stuff like insults. And then that's where it becomes like somatic. Now, like my aunt, she was all about the beauty. I mean, she was a very beautiful lady. I will give her that. She's very beautiful. But at the time, I was 17, Shakira. I was
Okay.
17 years old. And I want to say she was like in her 50s,
Mm-hmm.
like her late 40s, early 50s, or somewhere around there. And she's sitting there like comparing her looks to mine. And she's like, "Oh," I'm like, I mean, I get like you want to acknowledge beauty. You could say, "Hey, you're beautiful." And I do that all the time. I
Yeah.
I love beauty. I
Mm-hmm.
like if I see it, I'm like, "Yes, you look beautiful."
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna sit around and be like, "Oh, I wish that was me," or "Oh, why do you look like that?" Like, no, you
Yes.
know,
Oh my
I don't do
goodness.
stuff
So
like
many
that.
people are popping in my head.
Yeah, it's just like for what? Like
Mm-hmm.
I had never been that way. I don't ever want to be that way. I just don't get
Yeah.
it. But yeah, she was always comparing herself to me and saying, "Oh, look at my neck. Your neck is like that." And sometimes when we go out in public, she's like, "Oh, look, you're getting all the attention." I'm like, "Huh? Like, what are
Oh,
you talking
wow.
about?" Yeah.
Okay.
And so, she was really focused on the outer appearance. If you didn't look a certain way, she's gonna talk about it and gossip, and so they're just very focused on the outer looks, outer appearance. Narcissists, very self-absorbed, just I guess conceited to a certain way, and just ego-based,
Okay.
egotistical individuals.
So,
Yeah,
I'm
pretty much.
sorry.
No,
No,
that's
really
it.
good. So,
Yeah.
if a person is encountering someone who is egotistical or conceited, would that be a form of narcissism? What do you think?
I would say it depends to the severity of it because, again, in order to accomplish certain things in your life, you have to believe in yourself. Like that's a given,
Mhm.
right? But as long as you're not putting other people down in the process or trying to
Mhm.
exploit other people, in that particular situation, you get what I'm saying? Like it's a way in which you are behaving. Like because the thing with a narcissist, how you can know they're full blown is that they do it every day. Like that's their
Okay.
personality. They show up like that. It never changes versus an individual that's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the best," or "Oh look, I got this." It's like maybe they're just trying to uplift themselves or and motivate themselves. Sometimes you have to do stuff like that. Sometimes you have to talk. You have to have a positive talk in your mind. You have to say affirmations and to motivate yourself. Sometimes you have to do that, but as long as you're not hurting anybody or trying to put people down because to bring yourself up, then that's where it becomes toxic and like narcissistic. So you want to stay away from that type of behavior.
Okay, really
Yeah.
good. Good stuff.
Mhm.
Some of the things that I tell clients in session is one of the major ways to identify a narcissist is that they just lack empathy, right?
Mhm.
Just that humanness, that human trait of being able to empathize with another person and what they're going through and who they are and their experience. People that are on the narcissist spectrum, they don't have that, right? They just
No.
don't they just brush it off, right? And I think that
Mhm.
that is the most frustrating thing to encounter when dealing with someone with MPD is that they just don't care,
They
right?
just
And
don't care at all.
you're like, how is this possible? How do you
Yeah.
just not care?
Mhm. Yeah.
But what we found in research and studies is that they have very low self esteem. They have
Mhm.
a very low sense of self worth. They're fearful of being abandoned, all of these
Mhm.
different things. But at the core, they're terrible people. Terrible
Mhm.
people. I tell my clients, right? Some of my clients will come in and they'd be like, "Am I narcissistic?" I'd be like, "Listen, people who are narcissistic do not come to
They
therapy.
don't come
So
in. No.
ain't nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
It's
No.
everybody else. So we can rule that out because you are here."
Yes. Yes.
So good stuff. So
Correct.
Joy, tell us about
Yes.
your 90-day coaching program.
Yes. So my 90-day coaching program, it's actually been out for quite some time. Oh, sorry about that.
No
I've
problem.
had it for some while. I was pulling my little desk thingy up, but so yes, my 90-day coaching program was something that I created because I offer different products and services for clients as well, or folks that are looking for help with the abuse.
Mhm.
So with the coaching program is something that I like to do with folks, especially if they have like long-term effects of the narcissistic abuse, which is the case most of the
Mhm.
time. So specifically with overcome narcissistic abuse, we hone in on what was their specific pain point, like their trigger or their insecurity, or something that really affected them. Let's say they're like, hey, you know what, my self-esteem really went low. I need help to bring it back up. So then we focus on that. So for the first month, we kind of talk about what happened to them specifically, them dealing with the narcissist, and just kind of get everything out in the forefront, see where their plan is, where they're looking to go, and kind of go from there, right?
Mhm.
The second month, then we're like, okay, we identify what it was. So let's say they're like, hey, my self-esteem, I don't love myself, I hate myself, I really want to get help with this. Okay, cool. So we focus on some things that we can do to help them with their self-esteem. So, do you need to practice more self-care? Do you need to look yourself in the mirror and say, have little affirmation self-talk? Or, do you need to work out or something,
Mhm. Mhm.
and we kind of hone in, or like, what are some things that they like to do, any activities we can help to boost your confidence, to boost your self-esteem, and to make you feel good again, what makes you happy. We find out specifically what it is to that can help build their sense of self back up. And then, okay, cool, so these are some things that you're going to do during this period of time. And then that last month, that third month, then that's when we go ahead and take action on,
Mhm.
what the plan that we had. So that way it can, help them on their recovery. Now, we're not saying that this is going to be the end all be all. We may have to, keep doing those every 3 months, follow up, check in, and things like that to see, if it's helping them, which a lot of times it is, which is great. So that's why
Yeah.
I always do recommend that investment, because it's like, if you don't invest in yourself, then nobody else is. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
it's worth it, because the damage that a narcissist can do is so like destructive. It's, it depletes a person, it really breaks their spirit, it kills their dreams, a lot of times. And I'm like, no, don't allow the narcissist to break you like that, because they can. If you
Mhm.
allow the narcissist, they will break you down to where you feel like you're nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so, I'm like, no, let's go ahead. I'm kind of like motivating them. I'm not telling them what to do per se, because I always tell people, like, I'm not trying to, help people that don't want to be helped now.
Mhm.
Like, you have to want to help yourself too. But I'm just
Mhm.
here as like a mentor, as a guide, as a coach for you. You get
Mhm.
me?
Mhm.
So, but yeah, during that last month, we hone in on that. But yeah, that's essentially what the 90-day coaching program is all about. And same thing with the turn your pain into power. Same thing, we talk about what they went through with the narcissist, how it caused them pain. We just hone in on that. The second month, we kind of dive deeper into how it's going to help them to help other people too.
Mhm.
Like, how is this experience, whether they, narcissistic abuse or other types of mental health challenges and things like that, how that's going to allow them to help other people, whether they like have a little business or they do their own little private practice, or have other little organizations or nonprofits and stuff like that. That second month, and then that third month, they go ahead and they take action, and I'll still be there to help them. Like, if they're trying to launch a website, or they're trying to launch a nonprofit organization, or have their own little practice. Same thing, be there to help them, support them in that regards. um so that's how that works. And also, I do have the sessions and things like that I offer, the courses and the self-study books and things like that. So
Wonderful. You are like knee deep in it. Are knee deep
Thank
in
you.
it. So, what could a potential
Yes.
client expect? Right? What type of outcome should they be looking for?
Yeah, to really just, to be free of the mental anguish, the mental pain that they've been experiencing, again, better self-esteem, more happiness, more freedom to enjoy their life,
Mhm.
being more productive, being more constructive in our life, an increase of more energy to get things done, what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And yeah, no more healthier relationships, more healthier connections, and just being able to, like I said, being more productive in whether it's like career or other areas in our life, and they could explore, like, be a child again, childlike, just having that better life instead of being, stuck and trapped with a narcissist and feeling codependent. You can learn to be independent, learning to be self-reliant, and to do for self instead of having to be dependent on someone that doesn't have your best interests.
Mm,
So
yeah.
hopefully, yes, that makes sense.
That made a lot of sense, right? A lot of sense. And um,
Yes.
dealing with individuals who are also trying to break free from the claws of a narcissism, or who has gained the strength
Mhm.
to be able to get out of such a mentally, emotionally, physically abusive relationship. Those are the outcomes that I'm sure that they are looking for, just to have
Mhm.
their sense of self back,
Sense of self.
just to know that they are not crazy. One of the biggest
Mhm.
things that I've noticed with individuals who are in narcissistic relationships is that they make you doubt yourself.
Mhm.
They make
Yes.
you doubt your reality. They tell you
Yes.
things like, believe what I say, not what you see, right? And
Mhm.
so it takes
Mhm.
so much to bring a person back from that. So the kind of outcomes that you're describing, it's definitely what individuals are looking for who were able to survive and get out of such a abusive relationship. So good
Definitely.
stuff. Good stuff. So Joy,
Yes,
tell us
indeed.
what, after pouring into all of these people and helping them get to their goals and helping them to manage their emotional health, what are some things
Yes.
that you do to pour back into yourself? What are your stress reduction techniques?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, of course, just having my relationship with God, that helps me to kind of relieve any stress that I may be feeling. Spending time alone. I'm such a empathic person. I'm also highly sensitive, so we really value our quiet time.
Hey,
you
yes.
know, we
Yes.
really value our quiet time. Our alone time is a must on a daily basis.
Mhm.
But also, I'm like, even though I am an empath, I'm highly sensitive, and I can be introverted at times, I must say. Not all the time, but just a
Mhm.
little bit.
Mhm. Yeah.
but being able to go out and travel, go have like
Mhm.
little adventures, and also spend time with like my loving friends, which is not too many, unfortunately, but I
Yeah.
do have just a little bit, and I'm okay with that. As I've gotten older, I realize the less people you have, the more drama free you'll be. you know
Yep. Ain't that the truth? That's a sad state of affairs
it's
that we're
it,
in as
it
people.
truly is.
We all have a lot of work to do. That is a sad state of affairs. How true that is.
But I love people, I really do, but because of like what I've gone through, it just really like, you just really got to be careful, who you have around. But
Mhm.
other stress-free reduction things that I like to do to help, I like also to, have a nice meal, cook a nice little dinner, get a massage. I love getting massages. Like those are like the best. You have to be careful like who you get one from, because sometimes they be trying to do that happy ending stuff, and you don't want to you don't want to do that. But
Joy,
the
that is another
massage,
show.
right? You gotta be, you know how that is.
Mhm.
But also yoga. Oh my God, yoga has really changed my life when it comes to like different stress. Even like when I was dealing with the narcissist like years ago, like with my aunt and the male narc, and I had some time to obviously, yes, I did heal, but I had a lot of free time during that period. So I think that that was good that I had that time, and I used that to go to my yoga classes that I had. And when I tell you, Shakira, like that was amazing. Like during the workout though, it was tough, I'm not gonna lie, because it's a workout, but then you have all that stuff going on and your mind is like going crazy. But when you're doing the movements, you're doing the stretches, then you're just like, okay, like I got this. I'm gonna be all right. Just put one foot in front of the other. Let me just
Oh,
stretch this part out in my body. I'm gonna be okay. I got this. And so it kind of just it really helped me to be centered in the present moment and
mhm,
forget about the past, forget about the future, and to focus on what I can do right now in this moment.
mhm,
Because when you're on that mat, you can't think about what you did in the past, because if you
mhm.
do, you're gonna fall. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So you don't want to fall, you don't want to hurt yourself. So that's what I love about yoga. It teaches you discipline, it teaches you focus. And I love that about yoga. Like it's
Yeah.
just I recommend it, highly, highly recommend it
Well, we
for
are going to
people.
put Joy's recommendations
Yes.
right now in here. So anyone who
Yes,
didn't catch
please.
it, they'll be like, "What did she say?" They'll
Yes,
be able
yoga.
to go back and read about all the benefits of some of the stress
Yes,
reduction techniques that you've
for
identified.
sure.
And so
Hmm.
let us know, Joy. Anyone who is watching and saying, "She is bowling up my alley. I need this in my life." How can they contact you?
Yes, so you guys can feel free to reach out to me. So you can go to my website called livenarcfree.com. So LIVENARCFREE.com. I also have YouTube and Instagram, so you guys are welcome to follow me on Live Narc Free. You'll see like a black background with some blue like letters with Live Narc Free on there. I also do have a free Facebook support group. So for those that are just looking to join the group, they just want someone to talk to, they want to feel a part of the community. Because I know that was the biggest thing with me, especially when I was dealing with the abuse. Even though I did have the little like handful of friends that I did have, they could hear me out, they could listen to me, they were very loving people. But if you don't actually talk to somebody that's actually gone through it, it doesn't feel right. It's just you don't really have that validation you're looking for, or you don't have that care and that support, that extra you know need that you're looking for to kind of help you cope with the abuse. And so I found that whether if it's talking to somebody that's dealt with the abuse or just connecting with other people that have gone through the abuse, it kind of just reassures me like, oh, okay, yes, I'm not alone. Even though I'm maybe physically alone, I'm not really alone, because somebody else went through this, or somebody is dealing with the situation, or whatever the case is. But yeah, I have a free group called the Healing and the Recovery Room. You guys are welcome to join. It is private too, so we understand that a lot of folks don't want to be acknowledged. They want things to be anonymous, so that's totally fine. No one's gonna know who you are, and you can actually even post anonymously in the group as well. Like you don't have to show your face or nothing, because I know people are very like particular about that, because I get it, because they probably are either living with a narc, or they don't want the narcissist to know where they're at due to safety reasons. So we do, keep that in mind. And then also, you can email me if you want to reach out to me via email, would be livenarcfree9@gmail.com. But those are the
Wonderful.
ways in which, yes, you guys reach out to me. I would love to hear from you and support you the best way
Yes,
that I can. So
yes,
reach
yes,
out.
yes. Amazing,
So yeah,
amazing work. Amazing,
you too.
amazing job.
You as
Thank you
well.
so much. Joy, it's always great to see you, but
Yes,
so
same.
good to see you again. Thank you for joining us in the tea
Yes,
room.
yes.
We will make sure that all of your information is posted, and continue success with helping survivors to
Thank
get to
you.
that next part of their life, that beautiful part, that part that we call healing. Enjoy your morning, and thanks for getting up with
Yes,
us
you
today.
too.
Have a
Yes,
good one.
enjoy. Have a good
Bye
one. Take
bye.
care.